Good evening, everybody, and welcome to day 22. Almost out of there with that day 30. And for tonight, I'm actually going to talk a little bit about something that I'm going to talk later about. So there's this group that I joined probably about over 10 years ago. And it's called the International Fellowship of Chivalry Now. Okay, and there's a website. A gentleman by the name of Dean wrote a few books, The Deeper Quest and Chivalry Now. When I get more into this, I'll actually hold those books up for you guys to take a look at. But it was kind of an interesting approach when I was looking for it at the time. I was looking really for something that kind of resonated with me. And there's nothing against like the SCA and those guys, the reenactors, because a lot of them I've interacted with, and they're really good people, and they actually work to incorporate these values of kind of chivalry and honor. But I was looking for something a little bit more cerebral, right? I'm kind of a philosophy guy and kind of an intellectual guy. Like I like to not just do stuff, but I really like deep things that I can chew on. And I came upon this website, and Dean is a gifted writer, and he really goes after and talks about chivalry. He developed something called the 12 Truss, and these are general, like when somebody's deciding to become knightly or to live in a knightly way, he created these trusts as kind of a guidepost, right? A guideline of 12 things that somebody that can live by to make them a better person, right? And what you'll find is they're universal. People will find them in other things as well in different ways, but the idea is to give someone a guidepost of how to behave or to work in this world. And I think right now it's pretty relevant. And I was going back through some writings, because we all participated in writings of our viewpoints on chivalry. And I know a lot of people, when we hear that word, especially the romanticized version or the historical version, it's primarily male dominated, right? We kind of think of the romantic ideas of holding the doors open for women and courtly love. But Dean does a really good job of going into it even deeper. Perfect example. One of the things, I was just talking to a young man today, and one of the stories, when you go back to Arthurian conversations, right? Let's talk about like teamwork or leadership. And one of the things that I found kind of interesting was when we look at all of us that are a part of this group, and he's got a Facebook group now, but some of us are like kind of a core group. We all have our own strengths, right? Dean is a masterful writer. And he writes a lot. He's gifted with it. I like to do things like this. I like to speak and lead and that sort of thing. And when I got to think about it, is like, think about a team. When you bring a team together, even to modern day, especially like in business, not everybody's going to have the same skill set. Not everybody's going to be gifted in one thing, but everybody's got something that they're good at, right? And in a sense, when you look back at the Arthurian legends, they kind of said, in general, you on your own will have a hard time pretty much doing anything, but you guys together can do amazing things. And so that's just something to kind of bring across. So when I get more into this, probably towards the end of day 30, I'll probably do a small series on his trusts and some of that information to kind of bring that out to the world. Because I think right now, I think primarily when we think about value systems, a lot of times it's tied to religion and not necessarily to like humanity. I mean, religion does, but it's couched in kind of dogmatic beliefs of whatever particular religion you're in. In this case, he goes after it more from a philosophical bend, from a humanism bend, and it's pretty fascinating. So that's just kind of a little primer of it, and I'm sure I'll do a much better job when I actually have the formal side of it. But that's tonight. I was just reflecting on that and the conversation I was having with this gentleman this morning, and how the world needs it right now. So thanks very much for listening. We'll talk to you tomorrow on day 23.